I tried one last night where using the screen capture function. So obviously when you play video through the screen capture, that video is not clear. It's blurry. I was very disappointed because I really wanted to show you in a more of a live sense my back corners of the property, because a neighbor had cleared a path to the creek, and that path hadn't been clear for a long time. I did a favor, and that resulted in that. And so anyways, I see that I'm not garnishing any attention. A person popped in, popped out. That must mean this could be blurry. It's possible that the stream is blurry. I think I'll read some poetry, some things that I wrote last year on this channel. I have some thoughts about some other things. If somebody comes in and can tell me if this stream is clear or not, I don't know. This is titled 1221. I see 1221 all the time. Spoken, unbroken avenue, 1221, ace of wands, waving around in a firestorm of inspiration. Streaks of lightning flash through the sky, tree roots absorb intentions. A singular house suspended in time and space. Zero, welcome. Is this stream clear? Can you tell me if this stream is clear? And I was thinking about you, wondering if you were still around, and I know you're still around and all that. But if you're doing anything fun, more pool playing, tournaments and so forth. A singular house suspended in time and space tells, okay, it's good, it looks great, wonderful. I'm just outside the house, and so it's the Wi-Fi field doesn't extend too much further. A singular house. A singular house suspended in time and space tells a story of repetitive numbers written by angels under the sky. A guest enters, ideas tattooed in mud speak words unspoken. Speak words unspoken. And thank you for being here, Azuru. I'm glad that you came in, because I was thinking about what adventures you may have been having up there in Alaska land, and getting good at the pool. Are you getting really good at playing pool and so forth? You must be. Young mind like that, you probably get those angles in there, any trick shots and so forth. You know, I almost flunked out of college one semester because I played pool too much. It was like the first time playing pool, and I was like, 18, 19, 20 years old, and okay, you quit for a few months, but you're getting back into it, and everyone, so you're pretty good for your age, yeah. Well, that's good, because I remember playing pool and how addicting it was, and how much I played pool to the expense of my studies. Anyways. Welcome, Mama Sushi. So you took your headphones off, so you can't hear me. Is that what you said? Anyways, Yeah, I was trying something new last night, but it was kind of a failure. Ramon was being really kind to me, and by telling that the blurry just looked kind of surreal. But anyways, it is what it is. I didn't make it public because after it went live because it was blurry. And so we'll try that again. Oh, you can't hear me. All right. I had some things I wanted to say, but I think I'll just read a few poems here from last year. Beyond the cloud, the moon peeks through cool mountain trees. Grand firs stand tall, drinking wisdom into roots. Broken cups litter the forest floor, whispering coons. That doesn't make any sense. Whispering coons delight in the wine of yesterday. Playing bingo, playing pool, watching the wind blow through the trees. And I'll just show you that right now. We're watching the wind blow through the trees. If you listen closely, you can hear the whippoorwill of that bird. I don't know what kind of bird that is. I think it's a quail. Can you hear it? I have a mic. It's just under my shirt with the hopes that you won't get the wind. You won't get the wind noises and so forth. Is everybody gone? Is that what happened? Can't see anything. It doesn't matter if everybody's gone. We'll just be on for a short time. I think my Tools of Fortune video that I released this morning was good. So Zero, I do have a new channel, Tools of Fortune. I'm like 3 subs away from being able to mobile live stream. I've been 3 subs away for like a month now. I got close and then went further away, got close again and further away. You know, YouTube seems to be harder this year than it was 3 years ago to start something and do something different, do something new. Tools of Fortune. It's, I have, if you go to my community post, I have a link to the channel. Maybe my last community post. I have some other link. It's just a pure. My new channel is just Tools of Fortune. Is nothing but. It's not a variety show. I'm niched down into doing card readings and so forth. Right now, since I'm doing card readings against questions that I conjure up in my head. So yeah. Oh, well that would be cool. Then I could get started on that. Though I'm kind of, I'm trying, being in that. So what I'm working out of right now is this joke tarot. It's a magician. It was crafted by a magician, and has a game of it with the real life tarot. And so the cards are like, okay, there might be like a bag of trash, or there's a button you might push, or there's a guy with 3 nipples on his body, or there's all these images, or, like you went back home, you had to move back home, or you live in a terrible house, or whatnot. And so it's affords you the opportunity to really learn one particular method of divination where you are reading the card. You're reading the image that is on the card, and you are putting it in relationship with other cards. And so this is a method called the open tarot reading method. And you are just purely looking at the images. You have the question in hand, and then then you see how things relate to the question. And so you're using I guess what they call the intuition. I think when I think of that is you're using your knowledge that you have up to this date that you've internalized, and you're able to recreate with these things. So if you're looking like a game of pool, you have these techniques that you've learned, and you'll get these situations with these balls as they splatter around the table. And so how do I get this ball here to go over there? And my cue ball is over here, so you got to like bounce things around and maybe glance things this way and that way, and it gets your mind to thinking about how to solve those problems and doing these problem solving skills. And that's kind of, I know this is probably not the right way to think about it, but that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. I guess I'm thinking about this as from purely an exoteric perspective, from the exterior. So you have this is just basic definitions. If you look at these words from their basic definitions, eso, which means inner, and exo, which means just outer, like exoskeleton. And whereas maybe if you want to look at, you have an exoskeleton, eso. Welcome, Hershey the Shadow reading. Welcome. Yeah. So, did you like my the video that I released this morning? Did it have a good timing on it? Good timing when I was like reading that. I actually asked the AI for some questions to ask the tarot, funny questions or whatnot, and actually that was one of the questions that popped up. There were a few that popped up. And I just changed the person from some random person to America. So yeah, you need that deck. So I need to do a lot more of those videos. I wonder if I could do those things live. And so when I get past that 50 sub mark, I guess I'll try and do things live. But when I was watching that video, I was thinking that I need to have a special hat to wear for that video. And I think that it's been a while since I've done paper mache. And I think it's time I did a paper mache video on this channel again. And I'm going to make myself a special hat, because you see, as I'm losing my hair here, and I can't exactly afford a toupee. I really would like to have a toupee. And a toupee that doesn't like itch your head and do all those kinds of things. You know, those are pretty expensive. It's a pretty expensive thing to buy, a toupee. But maybe someday, maybe I'll win the lottery tonight. Win the Oregon State Lottery on those numbers that I selected on. Yeah, so those numbers that I selected on the video before, I'm playing those numbers right now, like on a five draws on those numbers. And then I think I'm going to do some shorts on the Tools of Fortune, which is just, I'll pull out those lottery card divination things. Now, the Oregon State Lottery is only it's 6 numbers, 1 to 48, but other states have like up to 52, up to more. Oh. Well, thank you, Zero. I hope that they don't get like culled out as bots, but if I can now start trying to do a sample live stream tonight after my my writers group. I have a writers group that I host on Zoom, and it's the same people that I've been writing with since like 2009. Since 2009, when I lived up in Seattle, people that I were really good friends with from Seattle. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for that. Because then, now granted, now when I start doing live videos, I will, the pacing is not there. Because when I do an edited video, I always change the speed at which I talk, and I edit out all the undesirable words, because there's like all these undesirable words in my vocabulary that like when I hear I'm on the playback, it just bugs me to no end. Like when I use the word "so" too many times, if I get the ums or the ands, there's all these words that when I hear them, I just said my piece. They annoy the hell out of me. And thank you very much. Thank you for that. Thank you, so all right, I will do my first live on that channel tonight. Then after my writers group. I'm also having company over tomorrow, so I gotta wrap this thing up pretty soon and go do some house cleaning. And you all know how terrible I am at house cleaning and all that. Well, I know I shouldn't be so hard on myself, but we're always on the. I'm going to be on this path towards perfection. Up until the time I start losing the marbles in my brain, and that stuff doesn't matter no more. Which will be in what, 20 years from now? Let's see, I'm 57. That would be like 77. If God grants me that much life, that if I get granted that much life, you are getting close. That is exciting. And it was like, yeah, I can email you that Zoom link. You can just come on in if you want to. We don't, essentially Zero, you'd be welcome. It's at 8 o'clock my time till like 9:30, and you could listen in. Essentially, it has devolved into 3 old people who've known each other for a long, long time, that we do a lot of socialization, and then we do a writing exercise, essentially a prompt-driven writing exercise. You're welcome to listen in, and I will send you, I got your email address, and so I will send you a link to that, and a Zoom link, and then, yeah, it's, I have it, it's the same link, and every Wednesday between 8 p.m. on my time, Pacific, which is like, you are advanced by 1 hour, so that would be like 7 o'clock your time. 7 o'clock your time, and to like 8:30 or 8. It depends, because sometimes I like try to cut things down. I really need to talk to a buddy of mine. So it'll be 5. Yeah. The Zoom meeting will not be live because it's a closed writing group, and essentially it's like a Zoom social for 3 old people, me and my 2 good friends up from Seattle who when I used to live up there, and yeah, but it's not public like that, because when you get these kind of group meetings like that, people talk about their lives a lot, and so yeah, it can be a good time. It's just like anything else. But a bit, with, so I'll tell you the story. So here's the story: is that in 2009, I started when I was still, no, it wasn't this was 2010. I started a writing group. I had multiple writing groups, and this was just one of them. And where we would just meet in certain places. We'd meet at Cal Anderson Park every Saturday, probably like 11 o'clock in the morning. And then we would just kind of, there would be some prompts. We would just kind of share something that you wrote that week or the week before. Then there would be a few prompts, and then you would write for 10 minutes to see what you came up with. And because timed writings are a way to enhance your creativity. You do things on a time clock, bang, bang, bang. And so what happens when you do these timed writings, and I'm certain, I imagine it would work the same way with paintings. And so I need to get some more people on this. I'm having a person on Saturday, and we're going to be doing a paint off, and I think I need to do more of those, because I believe, because the same principles apply here when you put yourself on a time clock, because you have all this stuff that you're thinking about, all this stuff you're thinking, and those cognitive thoughts you're thinking in the moment don't help you any. They don't help you in that creative process. They don't help you in all right. Well, Hershey, you're coming on my show on Friday, and we can chat there. We can talk. We can just shoot the breeze a bit. But anyways, these things that you are thinking about. Oh, well, should I do this? Should I do that? Well, all of that stuff is no good for you when you are doing your initial draft of any piece of writing, creative writing, or whatever kind of writing. Then the time for doing all that thinking and stuff is when you are perfecting that piece of writing. And so my guess is that with a painting, now granted, with painting is different. It's a little bit different. But I believe, I haven't really tested it, but I believe the same principle applies. Well, if you've watched any of my painting live streams, and you may have noticed that I paint fast, and I work to paint as fast as I possibly can. And so while I'm actually keeping up with you, trying to keep up, okay, welcome. Heaney, welcome, blessing. And so, in a sense, I kind of do that already. So when I am like painting fast, and I'm keeping up with the chat, or trying to keep up with the chat, or just rambling about absolutely nothing, I'm actually not thinking about what I'm doing for the painting. And so what you're doing is you're bypassing all of that BS that's on the top of your brain. And a lot of this stuff, it is BS, because a lot of it is it's like self-confidence, things not being confident about something. Oh, should I do that, or should I not do that? It doesn't really matter, because you are practicing. Now with writing, this method for writing is much, much better, because people can create amazing things when they bypass all that BS that sits on the top of their brain, all that noise, and they go down one step, and so they go down a step where they're not creating out of the noise, and they're bypassing the noise, and they're coming out of a more like silent place, out of just a deeper state in your mind. And so that's kind of a lesson. I don't know if you've ever, in a writing class, we did that when I took a creative writing class in '87 at Schmecketa Community College. And that, at the start of every class, we did a 15-minute free write. And that, yeah, so it's a legitimate technique that people use. And you can, and if you just employ this, you employ doing that initial piece of creativity, and you do it as fast as you possibly can, and that is how you can anyway. That is a pathway to greater inspiration. Now, if it's like creative writing, you'll have a bunch of crap that you just laid out on the page, just a bunch of crap, and then you just go through and you remove all of the noise, so you get down to something that so during the editing process. So you take 10 minutes and you lay down a whole bunch of crap on the page, and sometimes that's all it is. And sometimes it never gets beyond crap, and that's okay. It's okay. You have to have enough, because you're starting in a journal, and this is a journal entry or whatever, and you're just laying down a lot of ideas, a lot of words, a lot of feelings, and most of the time it's all just crap. But sometimes you'll go back through it, and you can weed out the crap, and then you can find that there's absolutely something of substance there. And it's hard to see because I got the sun out here and it's hard to see the screen. But anyways, that's my little lesson on creativity. How to and one method on how to enhance the creative process. And there are other things you can do, like clip art, poetry, just going through a newspaper. I usually, when I do newspapers and stuff like that, I go through them backwards, because you don't want to read it, because you might end up copying too much of the original source, and that's something you don't want to do, because when you're doing a cross-out poem or a cross-out story, the best case scenario is that when whatever comes out of that is different from what you started with. And that's kind of that's the way I see it. Now, other people see things differently, but that's the way I see it, is that you're taking this column of words and taking out all the things that stand out to you in order to make something new. And then from that thing, you can take it and edit it from there and make it into something totally different. And so if you are, because a lot of this stuff happens as you get older. When you're younger and you're a younger writer, you're a younger creative person, and there's all these ideas and stuff that are going on in your brain. And if you can weave through all of that, you can get these great inspirations that come out of that, because of your youth and your ability to make connections that more educated and more seasoned people can't make, because their brains have solidified. Things have solidified down into these sedimentary layers, and it's harder to break down and break that stuff down. But when you are young, or maybe you're young and you're neurodivergent, it may be, as a creative, you be able to see things differently. And that's where you go back through history and you see all the masters of music and art and all that, and they were all pretty much children who created this stuff. They didn't have the blessings of modern science, of modern medical science in order so that, and our societies, which are with essentially a stable food supply and everything else, and that we can live longer and do more. And but what happens when you get past certain ages is that those creative level layers start to turn into cement, and so you have to do things. You have to do things in order to break that stuff up, and that's where these exercises like going into existing pieces of writing and pulling out words and phrases that just pop out to you, and then taking those things and transforming them into something else. And you know, you can look up William Burroughs. William Burroughs was a master of that form of writing, like in the, I think he's from the Beat Poet era, the 1950s. And now this type of writing has been around since there was the printing press. It's been, and it's maybe been around before the printing press. This is anything that I'm talking here is nothing new. It's all been done over and over and over again because there really isn't anything new. All you are doing is you're retilling the old. You're looking at older pieces of writing, older things, and you're just going through it with a rototiller, and you're just breaking apart stuff, and then you're reforming here and there, and that's really what you're doing as a creative. You're doing that, and then occasionally you'll come up with something. Somebody will come up with something that's just a masterpiece, but you know, then that could be you. It could be me, but who knows? You don't know unless you keep working at it. And so, anyway, that has been kind of my life mission of as a creative, and trying to rehash these things and whatnot. I don't know if that made any sense at all, and I probably just blathered on way too long about that. I'm in, what, 32 minutes? And so I'm gonna call it. I'll just turn the camera around here. You can see my tree. This is an apple tree. Half of the apple tree came off my grandmother's property. My grandmother's property, which I'll just turn the camera down into the direction of where it was. It was essentially that direction, 1 mile away. And so when I was a child, so I didn't have TV. If I wanted to go watch my Star Trek, I walked that 1 mile down to my grandma's house to go watch TV. My grandma also smoked cigarettes, and so I would end up smoking cigarettes too. And that's probably was not the greatest thing, but nevertheless, about 1 mile that way is where that was my mother's mother. My grandmother lived, and she died in October of 1993. Her ex-husband, my grandfather, passed away 3 months later. I think it was in January. He was 89 years of age. She was 82. She died from throat cancer related to smoking for her entire life. So, you know, smoking does catch up to you. Most people it does, not everybody. I quit the cigarettes and the tobacco in 2012. It was difficult. All right, Azira, thank you very much for your support, and I will send you that Zoom link through my Gmail, that the.999show@gmail.com account, And I'm going to shut up now. And I got to do some chores here, get ready for dinner. I got to get my elderly mother and dog out for a little walk, but it's still a little too hot for them. Anyways, thank you. Bottom of my heart is zero, and I will see you another time. Thank you, and for everyone else who came into the chat and pushed the like button, and maybe if you push the sub button, that's great too. If not, that's fine as well. I wanted to thank you, and we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.